Hello and welcome. It has come. It is the final round of the inaugural season of the Automobilista Australia Touring Car Championship. It's just ticked qualifying. We're just about to get underway. And it is it. The final round, the championship decider. All Foley needs is 1 point. But he's not had the best run in practice at the moment, and with the times that obviously Dwayne Davies has said, he's looking very good, as is Jaden Draper. But in terms of the championship, Roadhog has been quicker in practice by a good 0.8 of a second over Brenton Foley, so he's looking to close that gap. All Brenton Foley needs is 1 point in this first round to clinch the championship, so it's probably just out of Roadhog's reach, barring a retirement for Foley, or 2 retirements. But you never, ever know, especially in championship finales. We've seen it all in all kinds of motor racing and in sim racing, so we will see how they go. But yes, as you can see in the top left, 8 minutes left in qualifying. I believe Dwayne Davies was the first one out on circuit, so we'll follow him for this inaugural qualifying lap around the Interlagos 2017 Cafe Chicane layout, with the fastest time being a 1 minute 50. A 1 minute 50.3 for Dwayne Davies, but that was applied before the weight penalty to him was applied, which has been lessened. Obviously, he had the last couple of rounds that he has participated in, he's not been at his best, so he's had his weight reduced by about 20 kilos, and he's looking the goods at the moment, as is Jade Draper, who set a 1 minute 50.3 as well. Ooh, see Scott Morrill back off the road in the back there. So we'll just we'll keep an eye on Dwayne Davies and see what time he can set on this first flying lap. And then we'll go back and have a look at obviously the championship contenders and see how they manage to get on during this crucial qualifying session. Now, in this first race, we're not going to have, obviously, Scruff, Matt Williams. He is, obviously, team boss of Far Canal Racing. And he is trying to give all the information and help his, obviously, lead driver in this series out for this championship decider. So he'll probably be absent for at least the first race. Possibly both, depending obviously on how this first race pans out. So, got Dwayne Davies going through the final kink now, and about to set the first time, 1 minute 50.9. So, obviously a little bit down on his fastest time in practice, but still quite a good lap time. And Roadhog, pretty handy as well there, 51.0, and we've had Turmo and Draper since then, as well as Brendan Ross improve and set laps on. So Turmo out of nowhere, 1 minute 50.7. He set I believe a 151 dead in practice, so he's on the way up. So we're just going through and have a look at Brenton Foley. He's got no one in front of him. Yep, no one anywhere near him at the moment. He's currently up in the first sector. Headlights ablaze. He means business. The first sector only being the Curva 1, Sena d'Oest and Curva do Sol. And that back straight. So what can he do in the all-important middle sector here? Obviously, he's also, both championship contenders have had their weight reduced to try and help them obviously be further towards the front of the grid and avoid any possible trouble. So Brenton Foley for this round is on 100 kilos. He was on 130 in the previous 2 rounds. And Roadhog is on 60 kilograms and he was on, I believe, 90. So they've both dropped 30 kilos. Foley about to cross the second split. He's 1/10 down on his PB and 4/10 off the fastest time set by Termo, but he will be hoping to improve in this final sector here as he goes through the Cafe Chicane, taking a bit of curb on the initial entry there. There's see Brendan Ross jump to the top of the timesheet, so the 1 minute 50.439, just in front of Jaden Draper, who set a 1 minute 50.524. So some very hot times going at the moment as Jaden Draper doesn't improve, unfortunately. So once again, Foley up on his PB in the first sector. We'll continue to watch him for now. Looking at the sector times on ams.liveraces.info. And I believe Cracker and Luke Joyner are setting PBs in the first sector, but nothing too flash. But so we'll continue to watch Brenton Foley as he navigates through the middle sector through Pinarino and coming up to Bico di Pato. This long downhill left-hander is Mergulo. And then after that, he'll be going through the tricky Yungkao. A little bit of understeer on the exit there, but he's up on his PB by 0.5 of a second. Very aggressive on the downshift through the chicane. Looks like he took less curve this time, but it looked a bit smoother. So we'll see if that nets him any time. See, 0.5 will move him up above Roadhog. He does it. He moves up to P4, 1 minute 50.7. And well, I think he's done. Yep, there he is. Back to the pit. So, advantage Foley. So now, Roadhog, what have you got for us? He has a bit of traffic around him. Foley, when he set his lap times, he had no one near him. He's the only one on that side of the track. Well, Roadhog's got a Chevrolet Cruze of, I believe that is Topher in front of him, I think. I believe he's the only blue Chevrolet Cruze. There he is, going slowly. His Topher's down half a second in that middle sector. He's actually up on the pole time in the middle sector, so it's obviously that last sector he hasn't quite got right as Dwayne Davies jumps to the top. 1 minute 50.1, so he's flying at the moment. Might need to reapply that weight. So, with 1 minute left, if obviously Roadhog has got the fuel, he can do another lap. He does improve actually, so if he puts it all together, he'll jump up a few spots for Roadhog. See, he was what, half a second down in that middle sector, but that final sector was mega. Bit loose, bit wide. It'll be interesting to see if he got a track cut for running that far wide. We'll soon find out in the second split. He's kept it going, so it doesn't look like he has. This will be his last lap. His time is about to tick over to 000s. He's pushing hard right now. Foley is only a 10th up the road, so if we could just get this middle sector right, he could move up. And Jaden Draper, as time expires, jumps up to pole position. But Dwayne Davies is on a lap, and Dwayne Davies has set a purple middle sector, or first sector, by 2/10, and his middle sector is pretty good as well. So Dwayne Davies should jump up here if he's not botched Young Cow and the Cafe Chicane. He should jump up and retake pole position. It could set a possible 49 here, and he does a 49.7. That is very, very quick. And now it's up to Jaden Draper to match it, but we'll drop back and we'll find out how Roadhog's doing. Very good. He's got a decent middle sector this time, Roadhog. His first sector wasn't great, but his middle one's better. He does improve. He moves up P4, and Foley down in P7 is in the pits. So vitally for Roadhog, he gets the lap in at the death, and it moves himself up to P4. He probably could go a 10th or 2 faster. He has got the pace if he puts it all together to jump up in front of Brendan Ross. Probably doesn't quite have the pace to match Draper. Or he could probably be around Draper, but certainly Dwayne Davies, pick of the field at the moment. A 1:49.7, 3/10 in front of Jaden Draper, who is on another lap here. So see how he goes here. Okay, first sector. Alright, middle sector. What's his last sector going to produce? Does improve on his own time, but not enough. Less than half a 10th in it. So there it is. Dwayne Davies for D2 Racing, pole position. So that obviously a bit less weight has helped him here. That said, he did look quick even when he had a little bit more on. And here it is, Jaden Draper P2, a fantastic effort. Brendan Ross P4 for 444 Racing, but Roadhog vitally getting himself in front of Brenton Foley. He will start P4, and then we've got Scott Morrill in P5. Termo did a good job. He's in P6. Brenton Foley P7. Didn't go out again after he set his lap time. He was obviously happy with that lap time and the balance in his car, so he didn't go out again. And then Mike Coulston, good job in P8. Cracker, P9. Topher, P10. Joyner, Emerton, Neville, Reese Gardner, and Glenn Miles. So I believe a couple of those guys, obviously Emerton and Gardner, had some struggles, or they didn't leave the pits. But we will take a short break as I go through a driver's briefing. But we will be back to obviously hopefully get a bit of time in to discuss the championship and to obviously show hopefully a fantastic final round of the championship. So we will be right back.
I'm still worried about Jade.
Alright, welcome back. So, the drivers' briefing has taken place. The drivers have their instructions. And we are just about to go racing. There's still 3.5 minutes to go in the warm-up session for race 1 at the final round here at Interlagos with the 2017 Cafe Chicane layout. And, well, it was a very interesting qualifying session. Obviously, see Dwayne Davies make a return to form and put it on pole position. And then Jane Draper, who I believe did have a pole position earlier in the year at Santa Cruz, or at least he qualified well in that round, finds himself on the front row, only 3/10 behind. Brendan Ross, continuing his good form in the Monday night series, finds himself in P3, and then obviously Roadhog at the end got that crucial lap in. He put his sectors together for the most part. He probably still could find a 10th or two here or there, but he did put it together enough to get himself in front of championship rival Brenton Foley, and he will start P4. Termo and Scott Morrill and then Termo, 5th and 6th. Then Foley, who set a lap in the mid part of the session, but don't believe he exited the pits again, so he seems like he's confident in his car. And obviously didn't go out again, and we'll start P7. Then Mike Coulson also did a solid job. Cracker, Topher, Luke Joyner, Luke Emerton, Gary Neville, Reese Gardner, and Glenn Miles round out the rest of the field. So we'll probably see Reese Gardner move up the field, as has shown some very good pace despite his weight in the last few rounds. Although being a longer circuit, that weight will not help him at all. But on to the championship standings. If you just give me a moment. Onto the championship standings. As you can see on your screen, Brenton Foley leads by 24 points. So obviously 25 points for a win. So all Foley needs to do is outscore Roadhog by 1 point in this first race, and he will have the title sewn up in the final, or before the final race. But if a Roadhog obviously manages to finish in front of him, he keeps that obviously championship hope alive. And should he finish 4th, he'll get 14 points, and should Foley finish 7th, he'll get 9. So he'll close that gap up to 19 points. So he'll need to pretty much win or finish 2nd and hope that Foley retires pretty much in the final race. Obviously, key points on this circuit, obviously, you got the massive straights, so having weight is going to hurt. And Foley does carry a little bit more weight than what Roadhog does. And then, obviously, you want that crucial run out of turn 3, down the back straight. Down here, as you can see. Brendan Ross going down it. And then probably the next crucial point, obviously the middle sector is important, but it is difficult to pass. And newer versions of the circuit, obviously from 2017 onwards, you've got these big sausage curbs throughout a number of these corners, which weren't there a few years ago, but they're there now. But then this corner that you can see Cracker coming up to Yunkao, it's going to be crucial you get this corner right, and it's going to be crucial you get the Cafe Chicane, which is just after that right as well. See, you don't get that Yunkao right, it's going to compromise your run into the cafe chicane, and then obviously if you don't get the cafe chicane right, there's a big long flat out section down to turn 1 where you're going to be vulnerable. And especially for those carrying weight, you are going to need all the help you can get. So we've ticked over to the race session. We're just about to get underway. Some word out from Farcanel Racing that Brenton Foley is a little bit nervous. He's never been in a championship, obviously, deciding race before, so it'll be interesting to see how he handles the situation. Should he find himself in, well, a less advantageous position early on in the race, whether he just loses his composure or if he just keeps it and gradually works his way up back into position. So we are away. And just to once again go through the grid with you. We've got Dwayne Davies will lead us away from this formation lap. We've got Jaden Draper joining him on the front row. Behind him we've got Ross for 444 Racing and Roadhog for Bay RC Racing on the second row, third and fourth. Scott Morrill P5 for Honda Sport Australia and Termo for Castrol Racing. He starts P6, and that is the third row. Brenton Foley heads the fourth row with Cracker alongside. We've got Topher for Chevrolet Cruise Racing in P9, and Luke Joyner in the exact same car, both being default liveries. It is difficult to pick them apart because they do have no features other than the helmet, which can be difficult to see to pick them apart with, and the numbers on the side too small to read half the time. But they're 9th and 10th. We've got Luke Emerton 11th, Gary Neville in P12, Glenn Miles P13, Reece Gardner 14th. I believe Mike Coulson's dropped. But, about to get underway. Hopefully he gets back. Actually, we'll just take a moment. We will restart this to get Mike back in. Apologies about that. So he just missed that he had disconnected, and he had been trying to get back in, but just to add to the tension, we'll restart it. And as soon as he's back, obviously we'll restart again. So yeah, obviously, we do apologise for the his technical problems. I do wish people would stop disconnecting in the warm-up with 2 minutes to go and then trying to come back. But we do try and make sure people get a good night's racing in, at least on the Monday night series. On Thursday and Sunday nights it's not as prevalent, but certainly in the Monday night series a little bit more friendly. And we allow people to come back in, provided it's not for the 15th millionth time. But we're in the race session now, about to get going. So drivers now have 45 seconds to form up onto the grid. As you can see, it is a long, long run into turn 1. So you will not want to mess the start up, and you will not want to mess up, obviously, that run through that cafe chicane. Otherwise, you will find yourself under all sorts of attack from cars behind. I believe all cars are on the grid, and we're just about to get underway. And away we go. So just to fill you in once again, we've got Dwayne Davies on the front, on the pole for D2 Racing. Jaden Draper in P2, both doing a fantastic job. Brendan Ross continuing his hot streak on Monday nights. He starts P3 for 444 Racing. Roadhog P4, getting that crucial lap in at the end. Fantastic lap from him. Under a lot of pressure. Now it's Scott Murrell in P5. Joined by Termo on the third row for Castrol Racing. Brenton Foley for Far Canal Racing. P7. Mike Coulston for Waddy Dog Racing has returned, and he starts P8. Cracker, P9. Topher, P10. Joined by sister car Luke Joyner. Luke Emmerson, All Star Motorsports, P12. Gary Neville, P13. Reese Gardner down in P14. He should move through the field, but that 130 kilos certainly won't be helping him down those massive straights. And we've got Glenn Miles in 15th position. So we've still got half a lap to go here in the warm-up. Obviously drivers have been instructed once they reach the cafe chicane to go through single file and then to reform up on the grid. Obviously we don't want people running into each other through a tight, twisty section of the track. And because there's sufficient space between that chicane and the start-finish line, although I do hear someone's made contact somewhere. Someone has made contact somewhere. I'll just try and get a replay. Glenn Miles in the barrier already. I don't know what he was doing. He's gonna... I don't know if he's gonna try and start the race like that. He probably should go start from the pit lane. Just runs into the back of his teammate Gary Neville there. Should probably take a chill pill and just relax. No need to be driving around at 1,000,000 miles an hour in the formation lap. The drivers should now form up after this final chicane. Yep, looks like they're doing so. Drivers are to maintain 100 kilometers per hour until the leader hits the start-finish line, and then they are permitted to hit the accelerators. Ooh, Jaden Draper disappears and then reappears. Bit of lag there. And we're about to go racing. Away we go. And Dwayne Davies looks like he's going to lead comfortably into turn 1, although Jaden Draper makes a late move. And Davies holds around the outside. But then Draper holds around the outside, and Draper into the lead. Roadhog's jumped up past Ross into P3. And Brenton Foley, he's not moved up, but he's right on the back of Termo. And Roadhog, a little defensive, but also looking to get past Davies as well. Ooh, a little bit of contact maybe from Ross there. Did outbrake himself and lock up. He's going to run wide, under attack from Murrell. Roadhog, slight mistake there on the curve, and now Ross is going to get by him, and possibly Murrell as well. Roadhog looking to get past Ross again now, after that slight mistake. Up the inside. Now trying to go around the outside, but he'll have to run if he can hold on. He, on the curb, on the grass, he holds on. And he's up. Is he? Yes, he's up to P3. He just holds on. And there's a big chain of cars behind him now. Now Scott Murrell is really hustling the back of Ross now. But Roadhog up to P3. But he's 1.5 seconds behind Davies, and Davies now right behind Draper. See them come through the cafe chicane. Oh, it looks like Coulson is around. Just hopefully he doesn't hit the barrier there. Ooh, just to go around it. Let's see what happened here. Was he helped by the crews behind him here? Let's have a look. Oh, he certainly was. And, he might have some. Hopefully he didn't hit that the wrong way, but yeah, that cruise certainly didn't help him, and he is in the pit, so he's got some suspension damage of some sort, which is a shame. And Miles and Cracker, a little bit of an incident there. Just have a look at that replay. And Miles struggling with keeping in a straight line by the look of it, with that damage he sustained on the formation lap. Cracker just outbroke himself, as did Neville. And Neville cut the chicane. Cracker just ran wide, or Miles lost it on his own. So back at the front, Draper just holding on now. And up the inside, Dwayne Davies, not normally an overtaking point, but he has got it done with a fast double right-hander. And a fantastic overtake through Larinia, I believe. Behind him, Scott Morrell's moved up past them. Brendan Ross past Roadhog. Just have a look at a replay and see what's going on here. They've both passed him. So Ross has gone the overtake. Morrell's outbraked himself and cut this and ran wide. They both ran wide. In fact, they should probably both let Roadhog pass there, because they've gained a position and gone off the road at the same time. So a bit cheeky, and they might find themselves with a post-race penalty should they not redress that, which it doesn't look like they are. So Davies leads 1 minute 50.9, Draper 52.1, Merrill 52.1, Ross 53.7, Roadhog 54.4. And Ross wide there, but that's going to compromise, obviously, Roadhog having to take avoidance. And it's cost Roadhog a bit of time there. Oh, see, a bit of drifting, and they're both wide there. That'll be a track cut for sure, and that's, well, we know Ross would have got one on the last lap. Looks like Turbo having a look at Roadhog now, trying to do what Dwayne Davies did, but can't hold on, took too much entry speed, and Roadhog says, I'll take that back, and then goes defensive and holds him off. Ross locking up once again, this time into S. Now through Pinarino, but it certainly looks like Ross is massively holding up Roadhog at the moment. He's all over the place, is Ross, but Roadhog just can't quite break away from him when he does get past. So he's got to make a move soon and break away, otherwise Morrell's going to get away from him. So he runs wide there, that's not going to help his cause. So right on board. Not the most ideal exit. So he'll be hoping a bit of slipstream down into turn one here will help him slingshot past. But it looks like Turmo has got an even better run, and it's going to put him under pressure here. Roadhog just overdriving it a little bit there. Looking at his mirrors probably a little bit too much at the moment. He's immediately gone defensive out of Curva do Sol. So all the top runners on, well, the first three on that last lap were all in the 51s, while Ross are 53 and Roadhog are 53, while Turmo and Foley behind were in the 52s. So Roadhog was in a decent position, but he must have made a slight mistake somewhere once he did end up getting back into P3. And it dropped him into the clutches of Ross and Merrill, and then obviously Merrill and Ross cutting the exit after dive bombing him into turn 4 at Interlagos between the lakes. So I think what Roadhog's got to do is just try and be calm for a lap or two, press Ross into another mistake if he can. Nice and smooth on the exit through here and just get it done and get past him. Behind this group, it looks like Reece Gardner has moved himself up into P9. He's past Emerton and Topher. And he's now chasing down Luke Joyner for P8. Roadhog 52-0, 52-0 for Turmo and Foley. Looks like he got a track cut. Oh, he's drifting it. I don't know if he got contact there. Just missed it, so we'll have a look at that on replay. Oh, he definitely did. Turmo gave him a serve, and Turmo's got a bit of front end damage now. So poor old Roadhog, they're not treating him with too much respect out there, which is a bit disappointing. Ross wide again at turn 4, and surely that's his 3rd track cut, so I think if he does it again he'll end up getting himself a drive-through penalty, and there's still 16 minutes plus the extra lap to do. So now all Roadhog has to do really just, if he can, just keep it smooth, just pressure Ross, but just having to drive in his mirrors at the moment, and also it doesn't help when you've got someone rear-ending you. Because I think he'll be faster once he doesn't have to worry about either Turmo or Ross, but obviously he's having to contend with both at the moment. So Turmo's got another decent run, plus he's not carrying any weight, so it certainly helps him down the straights. So Roadhog's doing a fairly decent job, as is Foley with the amount of weight that they're carrying to keep up. And it's such a obviously large circuit with long straights. Roadhog a little bit rough there through centre. The centre S, and he's gone defensive immediately, but he's probably not going to have the straight line speed to hold on. That said, they're side by side into Interlagos, and he's had to pull out of that one. And Ross wide again, which it's not pinged him. I'm not sure how he's not getting pinged for that, but run wide there pretty much every time we've seen him there at Interlagos. Now Roadhog, what he needs to do is sort of just stick with Turmo and as Turmo obviously puts pressure on Ross in front of him, use Turmo as a pick to hopefully get past both of them. But now that Turmo's gotten past Roadhog, it looks like Turmo has well, the carrot sort of disappeared from him and is not as quick at the moment. Either that or Roadhog sort of found his rhythm, found his focus, and he's starting to put pressure on Turmo as we see Ross run wide once again. Roadhog a bit wide there, hit that sausage curb, which you don't want to do. Carrying less weight, he should be a little bit quicker on the straights than Foley, which he is, edging away. 52.2, personal best for Foley on that lap, or 53.1 for Roadhog. Obviously, he was being overtaken as sideways again through turn 1 and wide at turn 3. So he's probably got to rein it in a little bit. drive a little bit tighter and not use as much of the track because it's costing Roadhog a bit. Just keep off the sausage curbs. And in the background we can see Reece Gardner has moved up past Luke Joyner and he's now in P8. He's 7.5 seconds behind this group. His last lap a 52.1, which matched Turmo, while Brendan Ross and Scott Morrill on that last lap both had track cuts. So let's see, Ross surely would be on his last warning, and if he does it again, I would imagine the way he's been driving, probably find himself in the drive-through. So now we've got Foley right behind Roadhog. Looks like Turmo having a go. And Roadhog out braking himself, but he'll have the line through Yungkao. Oh, sorry, Mergulo, I should say. Now it's Yungkao. Oh, Foley very wide there. That's going to drop him about a second or so. Turmo all over the back now of Ross. Which is just what Roadhog wanted. He'll be hoping that these two hold each other up enough to let obviously him through, but to block off Foley. Oh, and Ross wide. He's elected to cut turn 2, and I'd imagine that's a track cut, and he's going to lose position to Turmo and possibly Roadhog. Cigarette paper between them. He's going to get the slipstream back though, but it's not enough. He's got a double toe there, but that's 2 spots down there for Ross. And once again wide. Interlagos is playing a very risky game, and Roadhog sort of having to go defensive, but also having a look as Ross wide again, as was Turmo, and that's the Roadhog having a look side by side. Now through Pinarino. Will Ross look for the switch back? He thought about it, decided against it. So these four, well, haven't been separated by much since the start of this race, while Dwayne Davies is 13 seconds up the road and Draper's 10 seconds up the road. Once again, Ross a little bit wide there through Mergulo. This is where Roadhog's got to be nice and clean here. Hasn't been his best part of the circuit, has the Cafe Chicane. Looks like he nicely done that time. Ooh, Ross, I don't know if he clipped the barrier, but he looked very close to hitting it. But he's got no weight, while Roadhog's got 60 kg, and you can see the effect, because he did not get a better exit than Roadhog. So Roadhog's probably going to have to go defensive here, because Ross is having a look. He can hold it around the outside, and he does. Again, on the throttle a bit too early, forces him wide, but Ross isn't going to be able to go around the outside there. But with the obviously not having as much weight, he's going to switch back, and he'll get that position back. Ooh, so I believe Roadhog on the grass a little bit there, lost the back end. Ross is going to go well wide, as is Roadhog. And Foley takes both of them. So Foley's been probably the cleanest out of all of them. And, well, there's Ross letting Roadhog go there. So just have a look at the replay here. Roadhog just drifted onto the grass. He did a fantastic job to save it. And then, well, Ross had outbroken himself. And went off the track as well. So he's now dropped behind him. And now Roadhog's going to have to get past his championship rival, Brenton Foley. Should he want to obviously extend the championship battle into the final race of the season. And now that obviously Turmo has cleared Brendan Ross, it would be interesting to see how far he gets up the road, if he gets up the road, because he himself hasn't been The tightest drivers is all over the sausage curve for the initial part of the Cafe Chicane. Looks like Roadhog got a decent run through there. He's got less weight, so he should have a little bit more top speed than Foley. So we'll ride on board. He's inching closer, but he's not going to be close enough into turn 1. His best bet is going to be probably into turn 4 to Interlagos. He takes a lot of curb at turn 1 there. Let's just see Ross lock up in the background. Looks like he's got a decent run here through the centre S of Curva do Sol. He's wide on the grass again. Looks like Foley feigns left a little bit. On the limiter, Roadhog braking hard and late. Pulls out of it a little bit. Foley leaves him the space. Roadhog also leaving Foley a bit of space. Good to see. At least these two aren't banging doors like everyone else out there. Just having a look into Ferradura, La Reina, and now coming up to S. Oh, there is contact this time though. Looks like Roadhog locked up a little bit. Just having a look, locked up a little bit, and you see a little bit of contact there into Foley. And now he's got Ross right behind him. Just what he did not want. So, once again, Ross very wide. And, that's Roadhog off. Roadhog has used up all his front tyres while he's been driving by the looks of it. And pushed too hard there to Junkau. And, that's another spot down. And in the background, Reese Gardner, Cracker and Luke Joyner having a bit of a scrap. Oh, that's a very scruffy line through the chicane. But Joyner is getting a bit of a bump draft by Cracker, telling him to hurry up. And it's a move, a late move there. A little dirty from Joyner, but looks like Cracker will take that position. Should he hold on to it into the braking zone? Brakes late, locks up. He's going to run wide, but he'll have the inside for turn 2. But Joyner holds on around the outside, and Gardner, advantageous move there. And now he's got a fantastic run on Joyner, who didn't have the greatest run through the chicane, but he's not going to have the top speed because he's got 130 kilos on board. And now Cracker having a look there, 3 wide. And Cracker's lost the back of it and hit Joyner, and Gardner, if he didn't outbrake himself, would have been a part of that. That reminded me of the old accident Jos Verstappen caused back in the 1994 Brazilian Grand Prix, and he wiped out himself, Eddie Irvine, Martin Rundle and another car. Did the same thing, trying to go 3 or 4 wide into turn 4 there. But as it stands with 4.5 minutes plus the extra lap remaining, Brenton Foley will be champion. See, Roadhog's been hit from pillar to post, and slight mistakes have cost him. Did a fantastic job in qualifying to be P4 and got himself up to P3, but mistakes have cost him, and just ended up stuck behind Brendan Ross, Turmo and Scott Morrill, and through all that squabbling with the weight he's had, he's not been able to get back past them. But obviously a couple of those guys might find themselves with penalties. Morrill and Ross overtaking him at turn 4, and obviously they were both well off the circuit, both Morrill and Ross, and they did not redress the position. Foley's got a little bit of a break on them now. So Roadhog's going to have to dig deep and focus if he wants to get in front of Foley. He's only going to have about 2 laps to do it, maybe 3. Turmo's sort of broken away from him a little bit. Up at the front. Oh, looks like we've got some kind of technical drama here. I don't know if it's me or if it's the server. I believe it's the server. Looking at live races, so with 3 minutes remaining, we might have to call it a race should this not get going. Yes, I believe the power is out at the server. So that is that. That is the race done. We're going to have to call it from there, I believe. Because it's too late in the race. We'll pass half distance. And, well, it's not how we want to end the season, well, the championship, unfortunately. But I think that's the way we're going to have to call it. Bit of a shame, because it obviously didn't give Roadhog a chance in those final couple laps to get back in front of Foley to keep it going. But technical issues, unfortunately, robbing us of a thrilling finale. So I'll try and get a hold of the final result for you. Obviously, Dwayne Davies was leading at the time. With Jaden Draper in P2, with Scott Murrell in P3. Yes, so the final standings of race 1, I believe, will stand as Dwayne Davies being declared the winner, Jaden Draper in P2, Scott Murrell in P3, Turmo P4, Brenton Foley P5, Brendan Ross P6, Roadhog in P7, Topher P8, Reese Gardner in P9, Luke Joyner P10, Cracker 11th, Luke Emerton 12th, Gary Neville 13th, Mike Coulston 14th, and Glenn Miles in P15. We did have all runners, which was good to see, but unfortunately we were robbed of probably would have been a very interesting finish. We probably would have seen Roadhog try and make a move on Brendan Ross at least, and you just never know what could happen. So unfortunately, we've had to call that short due to a power outage, and we've had to call the result, which has, it's a disappointing way to end the championship. Obviously, Brenton Foley will be declared the winner, barring, obviously, unless he does something stupid in the final race and gets himself a points penalty. But probably not the best way to win a championship, but there it is. He's been the most consistent all season with only, I believe, 1 DNF. Just going to try and find the results if I can. But yes, obviously that will mean that obviously finishing in front of Roadhog means that Brenton Foley has won the championship going into the final race. With Roadhog finishing in P2. Yeah, so Brenton Foley only 2 retirements, but we'll just go through a list of where he's finished in each one of these races to obviously bring him the championship. It's a bit of a shame actually that Roadhog missed the first round at Goiânia, because had he have been there, he probably would have been right there with him. You would imagine he would have had probably on average, 2 8th places, which would have brought him obviously 16 points, with Foley in the first round a 6th and a 10th. And then Foley at Velo Park DNF, one of only 3, I should say, of his season. And then in race 2 at Velo Park, a second. Curitiba race 1 DNF, and then second in the second race. Santa Cruz a second and a 6th. Salvador a 7th and a win. Cascavel a third and a first. At Campo Grande a fourth and a second. Two fantastic drives considering the weight he had at that round and at that circuit. Probably set up his championship, if we're being honest. And then at Taruma a third and a DNF. At Borough a fourth and an eighth. Again, that fourth in that first race, crucial to his championship charge. And then at Ribeirão Preto a fifth and a third. And obviously finishing in, I believe, P5 here after this race has been declared. So we'll just take a short break as we try and go through all, obviously, the issues and try and get a server back up and running for race 2. So we do apologise for the technical difficulties, but we will be back shortly. Hello and welcome back. So we've had the technical issues sorted, and as the championship has been concluded, and a little bit of a driver's briefing, we're going to change things up for race 2. Obviously, title decider done and dusted. It has been decided, obviously a few of the drivers brought it up, and there's not going to be a reverse grid for race 2, and there's also not going to be any weight. So for the first time since round 1, we're going to see drivers without, well, we're going to see a lot of drivers driving without weight. Pretty much we're going to see, especially Reece Gardner, we're going to see him without weight for the first time. We're going to see Brenton Foley without any kind of significant weight for the first time. It'll be the first time Luke Emerton has had no weight since, I believe, the first round that he drove in quite a while ago. So it will be interesting to see how this one plays out. Obviously, we'll just allow the drivers to all join the server. But yeah, just for something different, we'll just mix it up for this final race where, well, it doesn't mean anything. So let's just go out there and hopefully we see some fantastic racing out here. So we're just going to wait on a couple runners. We are 1 or 2 drivers short at the moment, I believe. Just waiting on Roadhog at the moment. And Matt Williams has entered the game, so we're going to have to edit the grid one more time. So it'll be interesting to see how a few of these guys go, obviously without weight to their cars. I know a number of drivers, Brenton Foley in particular, obviously set his car up with weight in mind. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes and how his setup reacts to obviously not having 100 kilos extra in the passenger seat. And then obviously Reece Gardner, as we said earlier, is at 100 plus kilos throughout his entire time in this series. So we'll get to see his true pace compared to everybody else. He's obviously done a fantastic job, driving around with 130 kilos plus for the entire time he's been in this series. So now those that watch his channel and follow him keenly, as Topher smashes into the pit exit wall there, so that you'll finally get to see how his pace stacks up, obviously compared to everybody else. Oh my days, and the grid has been messed up, so just see if we can get this sorted. No, that is correct. My mistake. Now it's stuffed up, okay. Okay, it should be set correctly this time. Let's have a look through. Yes, it looks as though it is. Which is good to know. Obviously, another thing for this final race is the as you can see right now on your screens, it looks a little bit different to race 1, which is sunset, because the sun is setting on this inaugural Automobilista Australia touring car season. And aside from the massive accidents in a couple of the races, particularly obviously the second race in at Goiânia, aside from sort of those incidents at the start, we've had a fantastic series, and I'd obviously like to thank Scruff for setting up the servers, and Dwayne for also hosting a couple of the servers. Obviously, congratulations to Brenton Foley on taking out the championship, the inaugural touring car championship. He has certainly earned it, has been the most consistent throughout the year, and has been one of the certainly one of the cleanest drivers in the field, which is good to see. Obviously, the champion being obviously a sportsman as well. Obviously, commiserations to Roadhog, who did a fantastic job to get himself back into the championship fight. Unfortunately, it's just that first round where he missed that did cost him, but he did a fantastic job to finish P2 and put up a fantastic fight in the championship. So, see on the formation that we'll just go through the grid. We've got Jade Draper will be starting on pole position, as Dwayne Davies wanted to start at the back, so he's been moved to the back. Scott Murrell will join Draper at the front. He'll start P2. Brendan Ross P3. Reece Gardner P4. Roadhog P5. Actually, I don't know how he's ended up behind Reece Gardner, but there you go. Mess something up. And then we've got Cracker in P6, Termo P7. That's another one out of position. So the race finishing order that the game gave me has been slightly incorrect. No, I didn't fix it, so it's slightly out of order, but that's what the grid is going to be anyway. Brenton Foley, 8th place. Mike Coulston, 9th. He wanted to beat the back, but accidentally forgot to put him back there. My mistake. But Luke Joyner, P10. So for P11, Luke Emerton, who will be one to look out for, being obviously winning his first couple races before having weight chucked onto him. He will be P12. Gary Neville, P13. Glenn Miles, P14. Dwayne Davies at the back where he wanted to start. There's all skid marks there. Hopefully there's been no contact. And Matt Williams has joined us in the second Far Canal Racing Toyota machine. But just coming through the Cafe Chicane. The safety car pulls in, the grid forms up, bit of a gap between a few of the cars there. Hopefully everybody forms up in time. And a few guys at the back just trying to catch up, and we are away. And Scott Morrell has the inside to turn 1, but hasn't had a great start, but he's on for the manoeuvre. Not close enough alongside. So Rossi all over the curb at turn 2. He's ahead of Reece Gardner. And Draper gone mighty defensive into Interlagos, and Murrell's going to have to go around the outside. Well, Gardner has a look, but decides against it. And so we've got Coulston all kinds of sideways to Interlagos, and he's been overtaken by a couple cars there. And Ross now having a look at Draper. Well, this looked like it from the camera view, probably going a bit defensive. Tried to keep Reece Gardner behind. Let's go to helicopter cam, and Murrell has locked up. He has taken the lead, and now Draper, oh, a bit of contact between him and Ross, and now Gardner giving a little bit of a nudge to Ross in front of him. Bit of snooker going on, and we'll see with the way the undulations of this circuit. There's some different lines you can take through a couple of these corners, and you did see it on that helicopter shot there. And Ross is going to try and go around the outside at Young Cow Draper. He's not going to do it. He's on the grass. It's going to leave him open to attack from Gardner behind. So, number of runners locking up to the Cafe Chicane. So you see them all file through there. Morrell will lead the first lap. Draper second. He's got Ross right behind, but having a look on the inside, it's Reece Gardner. He's broken from the shackles of 130 kilos, and looking mighty racy so far in race 2. Looks like Gardner's got a good run on Ross going into turn 4. Decides against it. Ross, well, both the cars in front of him locking up, and in fact Gardner runs wide, and now he's got Roadhog right behind him. Roadhog having a look at Ferradura. Not quite close enough, and Gardner's got a good run through. Now Roadhog trying to go around, so a little nudge on Ross there, and Ross has run wide. Gardner goes around the outside there. It looks like he's going to try and let him go, but he doesn't want to do that because he's got Roadhog right there, and Foley also right there with his headlights on. Might want to turn those off, champ. Roadhog is 3 wide into Young Cow. Roadhog misses out there. Foley he's going to have to turn those lights off unless he wants to just qualification for this race. Foley trying to go around Ross at the chicane. Ross very wide on the exit there. So Foley will have the line into turn 1. Roadhog, will he have the top speed to make it 3 wide? Looks he's going to give it a go. So Ross is going to have to hold it around the outside here. Now can Roadhog get him on the switchback? Yes, he can. Good driving, good racecraft, and Roadhog takes that position back. Now he's got his sights set on Foley. Try and get one back for losing the championship. Behind that, looks like we've got Topher having a look at Emerton with Turmo right there with him. Turmo, oh, very late on the brakes. He's given Topher a massive serve, and unfortunately Dwayne Davies got involved in that, and his right front's got significant damage. I reckon he's got you'd have suspension damage from that, but too smart driving there. And Roadhog trying to go around the outside, around the long way around Foley. Will he hang on? No. No, he will. He does hold on. And he's done it. It's a big out of Pato. He held on around the outside. Now he's got to hold on around the outside again. Through Mergulo, and he can't quite do it. The corner just too fast. He's having a look at the Young Cow. In fact, he's probably gone more defensive, trying to keep Ross behind, but it is going on. And now Reece Gardner, he's moved himself in front of Murrell, and now right behind Draper. It's been an action-packed first 5 minutes. Chuck a blanket over the first 3, and you could chuck another blanket over the next 4 after that. So Draper defensive, Gardner wide. Now Murrell, is he smart enough? No, it doesn't. It's too close to get the switch back, and not a very good line there from Draper. And now Gardner is going to have a chance into the seat of Interlagos. And behind that, looks like Emerton having a look at Joyner. And Draper holds on. He's outbroken himself by the looks of it. Gardner has to go wide, and Murrell's going to take both those places. And behind that, we've got Roadhog and Foley side by side once again, with Cracker and Ross waiting in wait. Foley's finally turned his lights off, and Roadhog having a look. Can't quite get it done this time. He's tried to hold on. He's close enough. Foley outbrakes himself, but he's got the inside line to Pinheiro. And just in front of him, Draper's lost out through all that at turn 4. And Murrell's made a mistake somewhere, and Gardner's got ahead, and now Murrell and Draper are side by side, and well, the gap between them and Foley, or the first pack and the second pack has, well, it has disappeared. It was 2 seconds, and now it's only 1 second. We'll probably see Gardner probably just waltz off into the distance with the pace that he's shown without that weight, but behind him, who knows, it's Foley on very wide. Runs very wide, as does Roadhog. Doesn't look like there's any damage on either of them, and they're very close to clipping that tyre barrier. And Ross is close, but we'll see with Roadhog not having any weight on this time, it's going to make it difficult. In the background, got Luke Joyner, has got Luke Emerton right beside him. Battle of the Lukes. And ahead of him looks like Cracker around the outside at Centre S. Just have a look at that on replay. So Rossi locked up there and tried to hold on around the inside. Cracker's just like, nope, I'm taking that position. And there he goes. So out front, Gardner's now got 1.5 seconds over Murrell. He's got, well, not much between himself and Draper, and Foley is right there. Roadhog's just a little bit back now, 1.5 behind Foley. And behind him there's Cracker and Rossi battling it out for 6th. So it looks like Murrell wide there. It's going to give Draper a chance. And now this is where he's got to set up the pass. He's going to get a good run through through Vico de Pato. Now another decent run here through Magulo. And he's right there. He's going to have a look at Junkao. He's going to go side by side. Draper pulls out of it, but he's got Foley right behind him now. He's going to have to wait now until turn 1. But it looks like Moore got a decent exit. But Draper's going to have to slipstream, but behind him, Foley's going to get a double slip. And as you can see, this onboard camera shot, Reece Gardner is #gone. And Draper going for the late braking manoeuvre into turn 1. Murrell holds on for now. It's allowed Foley to close right up, and Foley might even go around the outside of Draper here. No, he's going to try the switch back and take the inside. And he's got it. He's forced him into a manoeuvre where he cannot defend. And Foley will move up into P3 should he outbrake him into turn 4. And he does so and holds on. So some good racecraft, good racing from Foley there. Placed his car beautifully. And that's allowed Roadhog now to close in a little bit on Draper. But behind him, Cracker has moved up. Close that gap down to Roadhog to 0.4 of a second. So aside from Gardner, this race is well, it's gone off, to quote Neil Crompton. It looks like Dwayne Davies making manoeuvre on Joyner there. So despite that damage, Dwayne Davies out there having a crack. Just right on board here. See how he got the job done into the S. So Joyner ran wide there, and Davies much had to make that manoeuvre, and Joyner gave him a little bit of a serve there. And now Davies right on the back of Topher. Couldn't do anything about it at Junkao, and Topher wide again. It's well, that's pretty much game over from there. Davies should take that position. Should have enough straight line speed to get it done. Should, but will he? He does have damage, so it might be slowing him down in the straights, but he's going to have to go the long way, so obviously not as quick as I thought. That damage certainly not helping. But you can, if you do hold on around the outside, you can get it done in turn 2, but he can't quite do it. Now he's going to have to switch back. Topher on the curve, that's going to cost him. It's probably going to give Joyner the best run out of the 3. And Davies, a little bit of bump drafting going on. Topher going defensive. Davies is probably too close to really do anything, so he's going to have to go around the outside and force Topher into a mistake. Topher a little bit sideways there, and he's even wide even. He's wide again through Ferradura, and Davies will take that place. Yeah, and he does. Looks like Joyner's going to try and do it. Not quite close enough behind there. Mike Coulston hoping they continue that battle so he can close in. We have had a retirement. Matt Williams has retired. And, well, Brenton Foley has found a way in front of Scott Murrell. Looks like he got sideways there in the exit to Ferradura. So we'll just see what transpired. As you can see, so once again, we had a look. Murrell ran wide, Foley on the optimal line, and that obviously set him up beautifully with the centre S and Curva do Sol, and he just drove straight around the outside and out-dragged Murrell to the Cedar de Lago, and Murrell giving up the ghost. And now Foley 7 seconds behind Gardner, and but he's putting a little bit of time now on Scott Murrell behind, and well, Murrell's got Draper, Roadhog and Cracker keeping him, well, giving him plenty of attention. Behind them, Rossi's dropped off the back a little bit. He's 2 seconds behind that pack, and now Emerton sort of closing in the Rack Corp sponsored All-Star Motorsports Mitsubishi Lancer. And Dwayne Davies now in front of Topher. Interesting to see how much he closes up on Everton. You see Dwayne Davies been very quick this weekend with the weight. So Roadhog up the inside of Draper. Oh, and he's collected Morrill, and obviously made contact with Draper. And I believe there's contact elsewhere. I did hear some other contact go on there, so we'll just zoom out. Yeah, just try the manoeuvre. Probably would have worked if Morrill wasn't there, but he was there. Made contact, and oh, that's a bit of a dangerous rejoin there from Draper. And Roadhog's kept it going. Everton's moved up to 7th. Ross has got damage on the front left of his car now. He's up into P6. Draper down to P5. Morrill P4. Now Cracker finds himself on the podium, and well, Foley's got a bit of a gap behind him, but looks like Morrill's trying to get that P3 back. He's got a good run through the Cafe Chicane. Cracker not going defensive. He's going to try and hold on around the outside. Well, up the inside. Cracker holds on for now. Mill should have the better line through the centre S, and he does. Cracker's wide, but kept his foot in it and got an okay exit. And because he didn't get it done, that's allowed Draper back in the game, and Ross is now right behind, or now side by side with Luke Emerton. So Emerton didn't have a great middle sector. Now they're side by side. And Ross trying to go around the outside. Again, he's going to have the line now into Ferradura. And he gets it done. Should he not run wide? She does a little bit. That's allowed Emerton back up the inside. And he says, thank you very much. All that hard work undone. A bit of a nudge there. And just in front. There's not even a cigarette paper between Cracker and Morrill at the moment. With Draper keeping a watchful eye. There's still 8.5 minutes left, but it is, well, action-packed to say the least. And so, both Cracker and Morrill run a little bit wide, but Morrill worse of the two. Way off into the boonies. And so Cracker's a little bit late on the brakes of the Cafe Chicane. That's allowed Draper back up to close right in with both of them making mistakes. And now not far behind, Luke Emerton has dropped Rossi, so I wonder if Rossi's made a mistake somewhere. Can't see anything there, but we'll go back to live action. He's now got Roadhog behind him. And Dwayne Davies closing right in. So, when Davies did pass Topher behind, the gap between Davies and Emerton was about 7 seconds. He's got it down to 5. So, obviously there was a little bit of battling going on, but Davies does have a little bit of pace in that thing to sort of catch up to this group here for P3. And so, Draper disappears and back again. And looks like Roadhog making a move on Brendan Ross. He wished he could have done that in the first race. He gets it done and holds on. Just in front of them, so Draper still holding on to the back of Cracker. He's done a fantastic job to get himself up to P3. Up 3 spots. And, Draper outbroke himself a little bit, and it's allowed Morrill to get side by side with him, coming into Bicco to Pato. Broke himself a little bit, and Reece Gardner's got himself a drive-through. Reece Gardner, the race leader's got himself a drive-through. We're going to have to see what he's done here. I'm going to have to say he's done it through track cuts. I wonder if he's done it there. No, there it is. So, we'll see going well past the curbing and past the AstroTurf even at Mergulo, and there it is. It's given him a drive through. He served it straight away, but it is a long pit lane, but because of that he did have a big lead. He won't retain the lead, but he should probably come out in second or third position, I'd imagine. So yeah, there's Foley. Oh, looks like Morrell's had a crack at Draper and no wide there, and that's left him vulnerable to Emerton behind. And there's Gardner. So that's set up a grandstand finish with 5 minutes to go. So we've got Foley, Gardner, Cracker, and then Draper's trying to hold on with Morrell and Emerton hot on his heels. Morrell having a go. But Draper resists, and the battle continues. So the gap between Foley and Gardner, 1.3 seconds. The gap between Gardner and Cracker, 1.8. Looks like Draper's ran a little bit wide there through Ferradura, and that has allowed Scott Morrell pass into P3 or P4. And now Emerton having a look at the back with the forward focus of Jaden Draper. Draper defensive to Biko de Pato. Emerson taking the more traditional line, and he's well, very, very close. Take a look up the inside even through Magulo. They're all locking up into Yumkau as the sun sets. And Gardner, it's not taking him long. He's now right behind Foley. Foley has 4.5 minutes plus the extra lap to hold on. But behind him, Cracker's got 1.3 seconds on Morrell, and Draper's got a cigarette paper between himself and Emerton. Draper goes defensive. Emerton's got the slipstream. If Emerton's smart, he'll break early and get the switch back. Oh, but Draper parked it on the exit. Still going to try and... Oh, a bit of contact. Obviously, Draper getting on the sausage curb, and Emerton being so close, had nowhere to go. So Draper holding on by the skin of his teeth. It's allowing Roadhog behind to close in, and Dwayne Davies as well. Draper swerving a little bit there, but he outbrakes himself. All the fancy tricks hasn't worked because he's distracted himself, and that's allowed Emerton to get through. Now they look like they're banging wheels, but obviously not. And Emerton now up to P5. And Foley resisting the battle, well, resisting Gardner for now, but Gardner looks like he's in a league of his own at the moment. So Foley, he's got a couple places where he's just got to be defensive, and then a couple other places where he's just got to get the exit right. So through this middle sector, it's all about probably being a little bit tight and making sure there's no dive bombs. But now coming up to Yumkau and the Cafe Chicane, it's all about the corner exit. He's got to get a better exit, and he's not got a good one there. It's going to allow Gardner to close in a little bit. He's outbroke himself into the chicane, onto the sausage curb, and that's going to allow Gardner into the lean. So he couldn't quite resist, but that said, he's going to have to slipstream to have a go back into maybe not turn 1, but turn 4 if he can get a good run through the center S. Because if he's having a look, he's gone from deep. Gardner's given him space, and he's got it. So Foley on the attack immediately after making a mistake and losing that position, but Gardner, well, Gardner's going to get, he's got the slipstream, he's gone straight back up the inside. Behind him, Cracker has got more right behind him. So Gardner up the inside. Foley outbrakes himself, and well, he keeps his foot in it and holds onto the position for now. And looks like Morrell behind has passed Cracker. So, and Foley, will he hold on through Ferradura? Yes, he does. He doesn't go too fast into the entry. Gardner looked like he had a little bit of a look to S. There might have even been a little bit of slight contact. So Foley at the moment, he's got 1.5 minutes plus an extra lap to hold on. With Gardner up the inside, it's a Biko de Pato. He has to hold on around the outside, but he's not done it. So he's going to have to get a good run now through Magulo. I did want to see a replay of the pass that Merle put on Cracker, but this battle for the lead, just can't keep your eyes off it. I can tell you that Roadhog has closed right in on Jaden Draper, and they've got Dwayne Davies closing right in. So this will be Foley's last chance. He has to get a good run down this straight and into, well, either turn 1 or turn 4. He's probably not close enough into turn 1, but he's going to have to get a good run through the centre S if he wants any chance to bring home a win here. There's 35 seconds left. This will be the penultimate lap. Little bit of a lock-up. Gardner's ran wide, but Foley himself hasn't had a good run. Gardner all over the curbs. He probably should go immediately defensive if he wants to hold on to that position. And he has. They're side by side. And Murrell and Cracker are closing in. And looks like Everton's broken away a little bit from Draper. And Foley has to go the long way. Looks to try and get the switch back. But he's going to have the wrong side into Ferradura. But he's got the lead for now. And now he's going to have to hold on around the outside. There's a cigarette paper between them. You could probably light a match with that. They're that close. And Foley holds. He holds. A little bit of contact. But he's got it. Foley takes the lead. And Morrill is right there. But that said, looks like, ooh, Gardner did look like he's going to have a crack. But Foley's locked up. It's allowed Gardner back in close. Looks like Foley's got a little bit of a gap over him now. He's just got to get the run out. A decent run through Yukao and through the chicane, but he's run wide there. It's going to allow Gardner in close. Now don't outbrake yourself, which he's done it again. It's not going to give a run into turn 1 now. And he's going to have to go defensive and hold that inside line. Which he's done immediately. Straight to the painted apron. No, now he's gone to the outside. These guys are 3 seconds left slower than their fastest laps. Gardner up the inside. A little bit of contact. They're both wide. Foley's off. Reese Gardner goes for the switchback. And he's into the lead. And Murrell having a look at Foley now. And now Cracker is right behind. So there's, well, you could chuck a sheet over all of them. They're all having a look. Foley having a look. Gardner outbreaks himself. Foley's going to have a chance here. He's up the inside. He went side by side through here last time around. And Foley's going to have to go the long way around Ferradura once again. Cracker having a look at Morrill. Oh, there's a bit of a lock-up. They're both wide. Now, can Foley hold on again? Side by side. He's got the line into Peñarino. He's got it. Foley into the lead. Gardner onto the curve. Foley defensive, but he's outbroke himself by a good 10 metres. But he's got the inside line for Magulo. And Gardner has to find a way to go around the outside or switch back into Yukao. And it looks like Cracker's made a mistake. He's dropped back, so he's out of this battle now. Now Foley's just got to get the chicane right. He's messed it up the last 2 times he's been in the lead here. Reese Gardner is right there, and he's clipped the curb. That's it. Foley, he will hold on. Foley will hold on to take the win. Will Morrill get second? He should have a better run after Gardner hit the curb. Morrill is in second. Behind that, Everton's having a look at Cracker, but Foley takes the win in one of, well, probably the best race I've had all season. Morrill finishes P2. Gardner, that he'll be ruining that drive-through penalty, but gave us a fantastic scrap for the lead. He couldn't quite get it done after taking the lead twice. He finishes P3 after that mistake and hitting the sausage curve. We've got Cracker finishing a fantastic P4. Luke Emerton made his way up 7 spots to finish in P5. Roadhog, so he caught up in an incident that dropped him down the field a little bit, but still, he gave us a good fight as well. P6. Dwayne Davies from the back of the field, and after getting a bit of contact, fantastic job to end up P7. Jaden Draper, he went backwards after being at the front of the field for much of the race, so he'll be a bit frustrated, but he showed some great pace here in this final round, so he can hold his head up high despite this 8th place finish. Topher, P9. Brendan Ross, probably a bit disappointed in his second race, but did a fantastic job. Luke Joyner, P11. Mike Coulston, P12. Termo, 13th. Gary Neville, 14th. Glenn Miles, the last of the finishers. Well, once he gets to the finish line, he will cross the line in 15th place. And Matt Williams, the only retirement. So, we look at, obviously, the bit of a disco going on with Reece Gardner, Scott Morrill, and championship winner Brenton Foley doing the reverse doughies we cherish and love so much. So, well, I'm struggling to catch my breath after what was, I think, probably the best race I've seen at Automobilista Australia all year. That was an insane finish, obviously down to the final corner, and it probably should have been an easy victory after taking the lead early on for Gardner, but obviously sim racing and motorsport, well, sport in general, is a funny thing. Anything can happen, as Murray Walker usually says, or used to say, and well, it usually does. And tonight it threw up a crazy race with obviously Foley coming through to hold on after losing the lead a couple times and fighting back to take the lead after Gardner being a good 15 seconds in front at one point, serving a drive-through penalty and having to fight his way back. And then obviously Scott Morrill, Cracker and Emerson all catching up to the back of the Gardner-Foley battle, and that allowed Morrill into P2. But yes, obviously for one race we allowed the drivers to, well, we took the shackles off a few of them, and it produced some, well, we did see the class of a few of the drivers, and we also saw an absolutely fantastic race. But we did save, thankfully, the best for last for this season. Shame it wasn't a championship deciding race down to the final corner there, but still, to have a final race like that, we cannot complain. So we've been joined in TV time. We'll go to the championship winner, Brenton Foley. Obviously, the first race was a bit of a slow burner in that obviously you didn't qualify particularly well compared to your championship rival, but as the race wore on, you obviously got yourself more and more into the race and eventually found yourself in front of him before obviously the race being called due to technical issues.
Yeah, the plan from the start was pretty much just build a setup that is comfortable and consistent, and I'm not going to make a mistake because that's what I needed for that race. And I saw the battle ahead of me. I honestly didn't really want to get too involved with it unless the pass was going to be really easy, which eventually they made contact and ran wide, and it was kind of easy for me to slip by. So minimum risk was the goal of that race, but pulled it off. Big thanks to my teammate and team owner, Scruff, for helping out with the setups and the advice throughout the series.
Well, I don't know if he really deserves any of the thanks, but I suppose naming the team, I suppose, deserves some thanks. But obviously, you did drive fairly conservatively in the first race, but you switched to the second race, and it was well, no holds barred, and especially at the end there, you really had to get your elbows out to hold on for dear life there.
Yeah, pretty much. I knew Reece had the pace on me. I was quite surprised he had his penalty, but it really made it interesting. I think because I just straight up used the setup that I was used to with a lot of weight, and then not having the weight, it was actually quite a bit better on tyres. So I think I had tyres over Reece, which is what kind of helped me in the end. I seemed to get him out of drive, even though being on the outside on some corners. But it was a heck of a battle. It was a great race.
Well, it certainly was. Obviously, you guys battling it out pretty much to the death there, with obviously Reece coming unstuck at that the sausage curb at the Cafe Chicane. Had he not clipped that, do you think you would have been in a bit of trouble coming to the start-finish line?
We probably would have, and I don't know if I honestly don't know. We probably would have been side by side. He seemed to have better drive out of that last corner than me. I think he just had a better line on entry and exit out of that chicane, and he seemed to catch me down the straight a little bit, but it would have been close.
Yeah, it would have certainly been mighty close. That said, it was mighty close regardless. But once again, congratulations on taking out the inaugural Automobilista Australia Touring Car Championship, and obviously taking out one of the best races we've had here at Automobilista Australia.
Thanks very much, and I'm sure I speak for everyone in the group when I say thanks to you, because you've definitely ran this series extremely well, so thanks for that.
Thank you. So we've also been joined by Scott Morrill, who finished second in the second race and third in the first race. So Scott, obviously, in practice you seem to be struggling and wondering where the pace was, but come qualifying and obviously towards the end of the second race, or the first race there, you did find a bit of pace, and after a couple initial squabbles in that first race, found yourself up there in P3.
Yeah, that's right. Just really not much practice in. I was really struggling until I think the track kind of came to my setup as well, kind of helped. Was able to turn it in a lot better. But following a couple of other guys around D2, followed him around for a couple of laps, kind of opened my eyes to where I was suffering a little bit.
Yes, and then obviously that second race, you had obviously like Foley and obviously Reese, you had obviously the shackles taken off you, and you had weight taken off. How did the effect of having less weight around this track affect obviously your setup and how you drove it?
To be honest, I didn't even know you took weight off.
Fair enough, but obviously throughout that second race you had battles all the way throughout, and then when it looked like you sort of had a little bit of a break there in third place, obviously you had Reese and Foley battling out in front of you, and you eventually caught them on the last lap and snuck home to finish P2 after Reese clipped the sausage curb.
Yeah, watching that, I was talking to Cracker saying we're catching them. We were both licking our lips, and it was great racing, tough as well. But if you look at the in-car replay as we crossed the line, both fingers out the window, giving it to Southpaw, because I knew he'd be spewing about that loss.
But I think that, well, your results today, I believe, well, you're pretty much solid there in third place, regardless of what happened. But you've had a solid season. Obviously, you missed the first 3 rounds, which sort of took you out of championship contention. But your form after that was pretty good. So you must be feeling good coming into season 2.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic series. Thank you to yourself and Scruff for his colourful commentary. Everyone's enjoyed it. It's been absolutely fantastic. I've had some absolutely blitzing battles with Southpaw, and it's just been great.
It's good to hear you enjoyed it. So we look forward to seeing you next season. And obviously, congratulations on third place in the Drivers' Championship.
Thank you very much.
And, well, it was touched on. Obviously, Reese Gardner struggled a little bit initially in the first race due to having 130 kilos. And, well, I guess that's what happens when one eats one too many /15 or 20 too many buckets of Kentucky Fried Chicken in your car.
Yum.
But, obviously, pace wasn't there around at such a big circuit. The weight certainly wouldn't help with the top speed. So obviously weren't in ideal conditions, but you still managed to find your way up through the field through some very hard battles with Luke Joyner and Topher in that first race, and then in the second race the shackles were broken, and well, you unleashed your final form, except you then blew it by cutting the track.
Yeah, I did, and that was obviously something that didn't make me extremely impressed with myself, but at the end of the day, I'm recording my races for my YouTube channel, so for me to come home like a quarter of a lap ahead of everyone else wouldn't make for very good viewing now, would it?
It certainly wouldn't, and I'm pretty sure they'll be on the edge of their seats when they come and watch the finale of that stream.
Yes, indeed. And obviously, I do want to apologize to, I believe it was Gary Neville, for accidentally hitting him off twice on lap 1 in race 1. Just wasn't quite used to how early people would be braking on those first couple of laps, and obviously the 130 kilograms extra on my car. Yeah, I mean, I guess it really showed the difference between having the weight and not having the weight in that second race, because I felt so much more in control of the car. I felt like I could push a lot harder. So overall, I had a pretty fun night.
Well, you sort of got the best of, well, you got to see a comparison of obviously what it's like with and without weight, and having raced in a couple series of my own, having to carry significant amounts of weight, it's a lot more fun not carrying any. As I'm pretty sure you're thinking midway through when you were 15 seconds out in front, it's like, this is amazing. Feeling, well, driving around a track as big as this one, then you can just chuck the car anywhere you want and brake where you want without the car fighting you too much.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I got a bit carried away with trying to do fast laps, which is why I ended up getting that penalty. I had already gotten one cut track penalty earlier on in the race when I made a mistake. And of course, I went wide in the run up to Junção, which when you come onto the track, by the time you've done that, it's given you 2 cut track warnings at once. And so that resulted in my penalty. So I probably should have just relaxed and taken it easy, but you know, I don't like to do that.
Well, it is always good to see someone that just wants to go out there and just push no matter what. And well, it certainly gave us the most entertaining race I can pretty much say, I think, of this season for sure. So, well, we don't want to see people getting penalised in future, but hopefully the next time out we see another battle like that with hopefully no drive-through, and you'll be hoping to be on the better end of the result.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I definitely think I've shown my potential this season, and I'm really looking forward to next season. Let's see what I can do then.
Well, it's been good to have you on board. It's been good to have everybody on board, and well, before I do end the interviews, I suppose I should go to our race 1 winner, Dwayne Davies. Obviously, Dwayne qualified very well. Had a bit less weight this time round, but still, you still looked quite quick out there.
Yeah, cheers, mate. I've done a fair few laps around this track, so I was a bit used to it, but haven't done it in the car. But yeah, the car felt good. Probably shouldn't have started at the back in the second race now that I look at it, thinking that would have been a fun race at the front. I was a bit bored in the first one, so I thought I'll have a crack at the back, and then Reese was Grease Lightning and a few others, so it would have been good fun.
Well, even despite that, you did have a couple battles with both the Chevrolet Cruisers of Luke Joyner and Topher for a while, and then you eventually caught up to Luke Emerton and Rossi for a bit too.
Yeah, no, it was still good fun. I definitely loved it, but yeah, I got damage. I had nowhere to go on turn 2.
You did pick that up on the broadcast where you had nowhere to go, and it did look like you had a little bit of suspension damage. Was that the case?
Yeah, definitely, and straight line. I mean, I noticed it mainly when I was behind. I got caught up to Roadhog, and he just drove away on the straight. I was like, oh, hang on, I don't like that. But the right in front was like 25 degrees hotter than the left, but it didn't really affect the handling so much. It was just straight line.
Well, even though obviously race 2 didn't go so much to plan, obviously you had a fantastic run in race 1. I believe the only time we saw you pretty much in race 1 was pretty much at the start, because the battle was on behind you. But once again, congratulations on that race 1 victory, and for giving us a bit of entertainment there in the second race.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, and cheers for running the series and shit, Lewis. It was brilliant, mate. Loved it.
No worries. So that wraps it up for season 1 of the Automobilista Australia Touring Car Championship, where the inaugural champion has been crowned, Brenton Foley being obviously, well, both he and Roadhog being very consistent, with obviously Foley taking out the championship and Roadhog in P2, with Scott Morrill in here finishing P3. It's been a fantastic season. It's had its ups, it's had its downs. We've had some dull races, and we've had some action-packed races, and well, we've had the most action-packed of them all right there at the end. And we do hope that you join us next season. We do hope we get some more races like that last one we just had next season, and we do hope to see you there. That begins in, I believe, 4 weeks' time. In 2 weeks, we have a test race to go through, to go through and test a couple features that we may or may not run for next season. Whether recorded or not, we don't know, but round 1 will be taking place in 4 weeks' time. On Thursday night at Automobilista Australia, we have the final Formula 1 race on a Thursday night. It is at Spain, using the old 90s layout, which is the 2003 layout with the Patrick Pack. And then on Sunday night, we are once again back with the final Enduro with the supercars coming from Gold Coast. That will be a 300-kilometre event, so 102 laps, I believe. That'll be a very long one. And the Rookie Cup is next Monday. I can't remember the circuit, but I think it's the finale. Either way, it's coming up next Monday. So we hope to see you all there. And for those that have tuned in, we hope you tune in once again once the touring cars return. Thank you, and have a good one.